Ice Trae has been phenomenal. He's really making a name for himself, and I think people are starting to see just how special of a talent that he is. But I'm gonna take the Bucks because this is not a good matchup because they don't have a guy for Giannis. I don't know how they deal with Giannis. John Collins is a nice defender, but not for Giannis. And you got Chris Middleton. Then who you put on Chris Middleton? Skip over the last 5 games. Chris Middleton averaged 28 points a game on 41% shooting from the three-point line. Now, we remember how bad he started the playoffs off. He was terrible. So you got Giannis and Capella. Capella's a good defender, but he's not going to be up under the basket. He got to guard Brook Lopez because you know Brook Lopez is not going to be up under the basket. He's going to be hovering around in the three-point line. So with that being said, Skip, I think the Bucks are a better team. They can defend better than Philly. I know, Philly had 3 guys, but when it's all said and done, I'll take Middleton, I'll take Holiday, I'll take Giannis, I'll take Tuck over the 3 guys that they had in Philly, Skip. And I think Holiday on Trae Young because he can move. He's a smallish guy also. And you saw he was doing a pretty good job on Kyrie. So I like
for a little while.
For a little while. I think Kyrie got hurt the 3rd game. He stepped on Giannis's foot.
Yep.
So with that being said, Skip, I'm gonna take the Bucks. I think the Bucks are a better team. Giannis will not get a better opportunity than what he has now. And if he thought losing to an undermanned Nets team with only Kevin Durant would ruin his legacy.
Yep.
You lose this game. Not this game. This series.
Yep.
Skip. You talk about Ben Simmons not being able to recover because everybody say Giannis is on a silver platter. You got the Nets minus Harden, hobbled Harden. Kyrie missed the final 4 ball games. Bro, you're not going to get it any better than what you got it right now. So he needs to seize the moment. I believe he does. I'm going to take the Bucks in this series. I'm definitely taking them tonight.
So I am highly amused by your dilemma in your pick because you love you some ATL and you love you some Trae Young.
I do.
But you have this sort of weird fascination with Giannis and you defend him because I won't. And all of a sudden you're torn between 2 loves here and you're back and forth and you finally gave up on your Hawks. I'm shocked you gave up on your Hawks as you got to the threshold.
My guy, I played your guy in a game 7.
Your guy?
Yeah, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
My guy scored 48 points and hit one of the greatest clutch shots you've ever seen. And if his toe hadn't been on the line, you would be down 8 more cases.
My guy had 40 and 13.
Yep. He finally made one shot. It bounced all around. It was Kawhi-esque. It bounced around and fell through in overtime. He took and made one shot in overtime, and that's all that was necessary.
So you're going to hold that it didn't swish. You're going to hold that against him.
It was a little lucky. He got some favorable little hops up on the rim.
Yeah.
And he shot it softly enough. I give you. He had enough touch on it that it fell.
Yep.
I give you that. And I told you yesterday, I was more impressed with Giannis in that big playoff game than I've ever been with him. But I still do not trust Giannis. He has flamed out so many times when you wanted to trust him in big playoff series, and I believe that moment has arrived again. There's something that I grudgingly came to love about the Hawks. I don't love Trae Young, and I'm about to tell you another reason I don't love Trae Young when it comes to Milwaukee. But the point is, I love his spunk, his spark, his spirit.
Yeah.
I love those things about him, and they do too. And he's just so difficult to contain because of his quickness. He's hard to stay in front of.
Yes.
So if he can get in the lane, which he will against anybody, including Milwaukee, he can wreak havoc.
He can.
With Capella lob dunks, with John Collins lob dunks, because it's hard to defend him. If his floater is falling and he makes Giannis keep making choices, or Brook Lopez, either one of them, make a choice. You going to come get my floater, or are you going to let me have that lob dunk?
Right.
It's hard to defend, and if he can get the step back going every once in a while, he's a 32%.
Well, if he get a step back going, it's over. Because you got to hug up on him, and then he gets around you.
All right, there's something about Nate McMillan that I trust eminently more than I do Budenholzer in a big playoff series. Nate McMillan is right there with Ty Lue as an adjuster, as a motivator, as as a calming influence for what's still a pretty young basketball team. And I wish they had DeAndre Hunter, and I wish they had Cam Reddish, but they don't.
Right.
Because those are two big stud athletes that would help.
Some other defenders that you can throw bodies at Giannis.
And so I don't love it that they don't have those two. But I am going with the Hawks just on that spirit of theirs, because I remind you, they were 14-20 near the All-Star break, and somebody had the vision to fire Lloyd Pierce. I can't believe it.
Right.
But they looked dead in the water.
They did.
And Trae Young didn't make the All-Star. It's like they were a non-factor.
Right.
And remember, they weren't even a bubble team a year ago. So something was going the wrong direction, and they went and got Nate McMillan. And you want to talk about a turnaround? You want to talk about a roll?
Or would have the third best record over the final stretch?
And then to do what they did to Philadelphia, coming from 18-26 down, and to hang in and hang on in Game 7, that showed me a lot of grit and just a lot of moxie. They just got moxie. And John Collins is just not afraid. Yeah. He plays way bigger than 6'9".
Skip, I think the thing is that when you get a situation like this, and what do you always tell a team? If you look at the Giants, what did the Giants, when they was playing the Patriots, undefeated season?
Yep.
Can we just get it to the fourth quarter?
Okay.
You know, Skip, as the favorite, the deeper you go in the game and you haven't put these games away, all of a sudden, all the pressure goes to you. When Philly couldn't put this thing away in 4, they couldn't put it away in 5.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden we got a game. Hold on. We got to get to Game 6 just for us to keep the playoffs alive.
Okay.
Now we get to Game 7 and we're late in the game. But I tell you what, the one thing that the Hawks can do is that they draw a lot of charges. So Giannis is going to have to be careful because, you know, Skip, he likes to go to the basket, that Euro step.
Yep.
John Collins and Clint Capella have no problem putting their bodies in harm's way and picking up easy fouls.
Okay.
They got Joel Embiid a couple of times like that. They got Ben Simmons like that.
Okay, so these two teams played 3 times in the regular season, and I'm going to blow through all 3 games, and I'm not even sure what they tell you, but they're interesting, even if they're not interesting, even if they're not telling. But Game 1 was January 24th up in Milwaukee. Guess who didn't play? There was no Trae Young. He had a back spasm, and there was no Clint Capella, had a right hand injury. So they didn't even play in this game. Right. The starting point guard for the Atlanta Hawks was Rajon Rondo. Believe it or not, remember those days? He was the point guard. And he did okay in that game, but it wasn't nearly enough. DeAndre Hunter was in the lineup that day. They got out-rebounded 52-27 and got blown off the floor. All right. So that's Game 1. Game 2 is back at State Farm on April the 15th. And Trae Young did play in that game, and guess what he did? This is vintage Trae Young. He went 3 of 17 from the floor and 0 of 3 from 3, and they got blown out again, as you might suspect. Right. Okay? Then we go to the final game, and somehow the Hawks won this game, and Trae Young didn't play again. So there's no Trae Young, but your man Bogdanovich, he goes 6 of 11 from 3, but more important, in the fourth quarter, he made 4 of 5 threes, and they scored 41 in the fourth quarter to rally to win the game. So I don't even know what to make of it, because Trae Young didn't even play in that game, but they just outshot him because they made more threes. It just became a 3-point shooting contest, and Bogdanovich was better than any of the Bucks.
And the thing is, Skip, the Milwaukee is a 3-point shooting team, and I don't know why. When they got that kind of size, when they got that kind of advantage on the inside, they jack up a bunch of threes.
Okay. So in the end, I'm taking Atlanta's momentum over Giannis. That's what I believe in. Just sheer momentum, sheer unity, sheer chemistry, whatever they have. I just like what I see, because Gallinari can just flat out shoot it. He makes big shots for them.
For me, Skip, I just think the thing is, I think Milwaukee's roster is better than Philly's. If you look at their starting 5, Connington comes in, contribute. Now, they're probably going to play, I think it's Bobby Portis. I think Portis will get some run this series. I just think with no answer to Giannis, and I'm just going to be interested to see how they play this. I believe John Collins will start out on Giannis. Who do they put on? Is it going to be Bogdanovich, or is it going to be Herter on Chris Middleton? Obviously, then Skip, Holiday on Trae Young. Holiday going to try to post him up. Now, P.J. Tucker is the unknown. PJ played the game. PJ played really good, Skip. You talk about his defense, but it was a couple of those threes that he hit in the corner.
He did.
That stemmed some of
he always does
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He'll come up and make a couple of plays. So it's going to be very interesting. I just think the Bucks are a better team, and Giannis, and they realize this might be as close as they ever get, because you can't hope that Milwaukee. You can't hope the Brooklyn Nets is going to be injured every year.
Okay.
Philly gonna probably get better. The Celtics will probably get better. Miami had a down year, but you know Pat Riley, Skip, he got something up his sleeve.
Okay. Milwaukee.